On October 27, 2025, Mexico Beach woke not to a gentle sunrise, but to the violent roar of a severe thunderstorm that shattered the early morning calm. The day began with a sense of unease, as the first distant rumbles of thunder quickly grew into a deafening, relentless barrage. The sky transformed in moments, shifting from peaceful gray to a swirling chaos of black clouds. Thunder shook homes to their foundations, and the wind howled through the empty streets, bending palm trees and rattling windows with every gust. Rain fell in blinding, relentless sheets, turning familiar roads into rivers within minutes. Water pooled and rose rapidly, making travel impossible and trapping some residents in their homes. Residents, no strangers to hurricanes and tropical storms, faced a sudden and unexpected test of resilience. Many watched anxiously from behind storm windows, bracing themselves and their families for whatever might come next. The National Weather Service issued urgent warnings, their alerts lighting up phones and televisions across the region. Authorities urged everyone to seek immediate shelter and stay indoors, emphasizing the seriousness of the threat. Technology provided a brief window to prepare, just enough time for some to board up windows or secure loose belongings. But the storm's arrival was swift, its power overwhelming and its fury unforgiving. The transition from peace to peril was dramatic and sudden, a stark reminder of the Gulf Coast's vulnerability to nature's extremes. In just moments, the familiar landscape was transformed. This was not just weather. It was a force of nature demanding respect and caution, a powerful reminder that in Mexico Beach, life along the coast can change in an instant. The National Weather Service tracked a powerful and fast-moving squall line, a formidable band of thunderstorms that had meteorologists on high alert. Their radar screens lit up with intense colors, signaling the severity of what was approaching. The system was moving east at 20 miles per hour, sweeping across the landscape with relentless force, and leaving little time for residents to prepare. This was no isolated cell, but a massive wall of storms stretching from Huehuetlán all the way to Tyndall Air Force Base, covering miles of the Florida Panhandle in a blanket of dark, churning clouds. Winds reached up to 60 miles per hour, powerful enough to rip siding from homes, snap tree limbs like twigs, and send debris flying through the air. The roar of the wind was constant, rattling windows and shaking buildings. Warnings were clear and urgent. Residents were told to expect significant damage to roofs, trees, and power lines. Emergency alerts flashed across screens, urging everyone to take shelter and prepare for the worst. Tornado potential added to the danger, as conditions were ripe for sudden rotation. The threat of a tornado forming at any moment kept nerves on edge, with every dark cloud watched closely. Residents faced hours of heightened alert, sheltering in their homes as the threat persisted. Families huddled together, listening to the howling wind and waiting for updates, hoping the worst would pass them by. The NWS's detailed tracking provided vital information, helping people make critical decisions. But despite the warnings and preparation, the storm's destructive path was relentless, leaving a trail of damage in its wake. This was not a brief squall, but a sustained assault on the Florida Panhandle. Heavy rain and wind battered the region for hours, causing flooding and widespread disruption. As the storm finally moved on, the community braced for the aftermath. Anxiety lingered in the air as residents emerged to assess the damage, support one another, and begin the long process of recovery. As the winds finally faded and the storm clouds began to break, residents slowly and cautiously emerged from their homes. The world outside was unrecognizable, transformed in just a few hours. All around them, a landscape of debris and destruction stretched as far as the eye could see. Streets that once bustled with life were now littered with broken branches, shattered glass, and pieces of rooftops. 60-mile-per-hour gusts had toppled massive trees, torn down power lines, stripped siding from homes, and scattered shingles across yards and roads. The force of nature had left its unmistakable mark. Trailers and RVs, especially vulnerable to the storm's fury, were overturned and tossed aside. Homes and livelihoods upended in mere moments, leaving families in shock and disbelief. The aftermath was heartbreaking for many, as they surveyed the ruins of their homes and personal belongings. The storm highlighted the risks and fragility of mobile living on the coast, where safety can change in an instant. Cleanup would be a major challenge for both families and officials. The sheer scale of the destruction meant that recovery would take days, if not weeks, and require the entire community to come together. Flash flooding compounded the crisis, with roads submerged, cars stranded, and drainage systems completely overwhelmed. Water damage added another layer of hardship to an already dire situation. First responders faced hazardous conditions as they navigated blocked streets, fallen trees, and unstable structures, working tirelessly to reach those in need and restore some sense of order. The storm's impact was multifaceted, wind and water combining to disrupt daily life, destroy property, and test the resilience of everyone affected. The event underscored the need for sturdy shelter, well-prepared emergency plans, and a strong sense of community to weather such disasters. Here, severe weather is never just about the wind or the rain. It's about survival, adaptation, and the determination to rebuild, no matter how daunting the challenge. This thunderstorm was part of a larger volatile weather pattern. At the same time, Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 monster, threatened Jamaica in the Caribbean. The Gulf and Caribbean's warm waters fueled both local storms and distant hurricanes. The presence of Melissa signaled an atmosphere primed for chaos across the region. Severe weather threats can overlap, from local squalls to catastrophic hurricanes. October 27th was a reminder. In hurricane season, every system is connected, and vigilance is essential. Every storm teaches a lesson in preparedness. The National Weather Service's warnings were clear, but public response is what saves lives. When alerts sound, move to an interior room on the lowest floor, away from windows. Trailers and RVs are never safe in high winds. Have a plan to reach sturdy shelter. Don't wait until the last minute. Act as soon as warnings are issued. Preparedness means knowing your risks and having a plan ready. We can't control nature, but we can respect it and prepare. Mexico Beach's ordeal is a call to action. Learn, plan, and stay weather aware.